What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of High Mythology, the show where we get high enough to sell our souls to the devil for a donut, tell you guys silly stories from mythology and folklore.
Yes.
Yeah, tonight we will be sticking to the homeland here. We're going to be doing some legends and folktales from the American West. Wiki Wild West, I believe they used to call it.
I'm not going to do like your major shit till later, okay? We'll save the good shit till later. We're just going to do some funny shit.
We're doing some obscure folktales. I mean, I'm sure parts of these a lot of you have heard, but I know I'm new to most of them, so...
I would just like to point out that, like, out of all the religions with their devils and shit like that, none of them are as fucking funny as the goddamn American West one is.
It's Wild West devil.
Like, that, oh my, I don't like saying it, but, like, it's fucking hilarious. The guy is fucking hilarious.
The
like, I can't help it.
He was a hoot.
Like, I'm, like, reading other countries. I'm like, that's a fucking demon devil, dude. He's a fucking monster. This guy's like, I'm like, what the fuck? Appears like a munchkin. Sometimes I'm like, what? Fucker. Here's a penny. At your service.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. We got 4 stories to get through. Four stories.
8 in total, but we're only doing this part 1, baby.
Part 1 of 2. Yeah.
Some Ohio.
These are all from Ohio?
All of them are from
Fucking
Ohio.
Ohio. Calm down with your
All
stories over here.
All 8 of them. Part 1 and part 2. But Ohio's pretty fucking funny.
Ohio was the, fuck it, we're going to make more folklore states. Everyone else was like, no, it's way too late in history for folklore. Ohio's like, nah.
It's only 1900s.
It's only the 1900s.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. We're going to be doing the Devil and Major Stobo.
Major Stobo.
Major Stobo, a hero in war as in love, had grown old.
Yeah. This guy fights and he fucks.
He has grown old. His hair had turned white, his skin to patched leather. He was suffering from gout, and worse, John Thomas was no longer answering all the demands the Major made upon him.
Fucking John Thomas, goddammit. Goddamn John Thomas, my penis don't work anymore.
Favors, once granted willingly, nay, with enthusiasm, had now to be paid for. Worst of all, he had finally run through his fortune. No great surprise, considering his lifestyle. He was reduced to one tottering manservant who worked unsatisfactorily for room and board. An ancient crackling crone prepared his meals, no longer dainty and mouth-watering, but, in Stobo's opinion, unpalatable.
It's okay, my penis don't work anyway.
He was sitting hunched over before his fireplace, played over his shoulders, his suffering, throbbing foot swathed in bandages, resting on a padded footstool. Stobo was grumbling to himself.
Old age be damned. I'd sell my soul to the devil to be rid of this confounded gout. To be able to properly service Billette, that saucy wench. Wench. Yeah. To have John Thomas, that goddamn son of a bitch, that's my penis's name, do his goddamn duty again. To have some money to spend.
Did I write wrench?
I think so. It's okay, I got what you were talking about. Wait, was John Thomas actually what he named his penis?
Yeah. That's what it's called. You didn't catch that one? The suffering from his gout and worse, John Thomas was no longer answering all the demands the Major made upon him.
I thought he just was like, I thought John Thomas was just some dude down the street, like his neighbor. He ain't cut his hedges since 03.
They didn't want to say penis or dick, so they named it John Thomas.
I like that he named it. Okay, this is a high mythology first right here. We've gotten plenty of penis stories. This is the first story we've got about a man who was actually named his penis.
Yeah, right? I'm like, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, now I'm hopeful John Thomas has some lines.
Thank you, Ohio.
I'll do it fine.
Hey there, partner. It's been rough.
Oh, it gets funnier.
I
You
got
just wait.
down one of my testicles.
No sooner said than there was a deep rumbling in the chimney. The crows on the trees before the windows broke into a diabolical clacking. Yeah, clacking? Cacking. Screeching with terror, the old tomcat leaped down from the major's lap to hide himself, his fur setting off sparks. The elderly hound dog howled mournfully, cowering in a corner. A shower of sparks came down the chimney, followed by great clouds of choking ashes, followed, in turn, by a smiling stranger of endearing manners. The decidedly odd fellow was dressed in red velvet. His white ruffled shirt and white lace cuffs were clean and unsmudged. Not a speck of soot could be discerned on his face, quite remarkable in view of the path by which he had entered the house. The stranger was swarthy. He had a pointed nose, a pointed stylish goatee, and oddly pointed shoes, and a towering old-fashioned wig with 2 points on each side of the top. Stobo perceived at once that he was in the presence of his satanic majesty. The wig, he had realized at once, was intended to hide his horns. Yet the devil was clearly a gentleman, something Stobo had always suspected. Old Nick said, making a courteously bow.
At your service.
The major asked.
Are you always in such a devilish hurry?
The devil says.
My dear sir, I am ever prompt in giving satisfaction to my customer, especially men of quality like yourself. Also, you're an old soldier, and I am partial to them. I might be a dick, but I still support the troops, damn it.
Stobo says.
The devil you are.
The devil says.
That's pretty much exactly what I just said. Indeed. I chanced to overhear your monologue there, my dear Major, and all your wants shall be taken care of. I am entirely at your command. Your gout? But it has already vanished. Woo! I trust the fair Ballette shall soon swoon tonight in your arms. Rest assured, John Thomas will do his soldierly duty, if you know what I mean. Because he has a helmet. Methinks he is already bestirring himself. Would you like a quick handy before I go? As to the wherewithal, the money, behold the pewter tankard, yonder on the mantelpiece. Love how that was a thing that people used to say just casually.
They did.
Where's the remote? Yonder on the mantelpiece. The fuck?
I'm going to bring it back.
Yeah, I'm going to bring that back. Just like swarthy.
Yeah. He's so swarthy.
Oh, look at that swarthy chick's picture. Yonder there on the mantle. A good-sized mug. You will find it full to the brim with feces. Species spicy. Spicy Louis d'Or. Green Gorgas. Green Georges.
Golden Georges.
Golden Georges, Easter stackers. Escudos. Doubloons. Crowns. A piece of 8.
Those
a
are all
piece of
different.
human shit.
Those are all terms of coin and
A
currency.
7-toe from Liam Neeson's daughter. And no matter how much you take out, esteemed Major Stobo, you'll find this most excellent bumper always filled to overflowing.
Stobo says.
Gad's fish, the balloons. Louis d'Or, you say? Is that a fancy cologne?
It's money.
Yeah. Louis d'Or.
The devil says.
Full to the brim, always and forever. There remains a small matter of the price, though. A mere trifle, a superfluity. Superfluity. So there was 2 words. Superfluity. Superfluity. You'll never miss. I have prepared a document.
And here the devil drew from his ample sleeve a parchment scroll. And he continues to say,
"Oh, pray, peruse it. You will remark a blank space, left blank to insert the number of years after which all this note shall be due. Shall we say 3?
Stobo says.
How about 7?
The devil says,
Oh, I can refuse nothing to you, sir. I never indulge the wishes of an old hero. 7 it is.
And at once, as if by magic, the word 7 years appeared in the open space. The devil says,
It awaits only your signature.
Stobo says,
No, of course. God damn it. Should ask for 10. But see here, old fellow, my eyes are not what they used to be. Just like my John Thomas down there. I'll fetch my spectacles and study this here agreement before appending my name to it. Also, I shall apply my seal to make it official. I shall be back anon.
The major went into the adjoining chamber, absent-mindedly taking the scroll, closing the door behind him. Once alone, the major put on his spectacles and quickly scrutinized the document, which read, For services rendered, Major Robert Stobo hereby bequeaths his body and soul to myself. This promissionary note is fall due 7 years from now signing. Apollyon Mesphestos Esque. Now, the major had been many things in his life. Soldier, Indian fighter, duelist, womanizer, card sharp. But
He'd been a lot of things, probably things people would hate him for these days.
Right? But these were not the total sums of his accomplishments. Stobo had also served as a spy for the service of his royal master, King George, and was adept in the ways of his craft. He took from a drawer a phial of invisible ink and inserted it between the words body and soul in the sentence, In no wise my immortal. He then heated the sealing wax in the flame of the candle, imprinting his signet ring with Stobo's coat of arms upon it. He joined the guest by the fire, and the devil says,
Aha! Here you are, Major. I trust you found everything in order?
Stobo says,
I did indeed, good sir. I shall now sign this document before your eyes. Now that you said he's a spy, I'm instantly imagining that when all this is done, he's even going to peel off the old guy mask like it's Mission Impossible.
Maybe.
Stop limping like it's the end of fucking Usual Suspect. Stobo, you son of a
Stobo
bitch.
was about to dip his quill into the ink, but the devil stayed his hand, saying,
No, my dear Major. My notes must be signed in blood.
Deftly, Lucifer pricked Stobo's index finger with the tip of what looked like a lady's jeweled hat pin and drew a little blood. Stobo took a few drops of the nib of his goose quill and signed with a flourish, Major Robert Stobo, Knight. This done, he turned to his guest, saying,
This calls for a drink, my dear fellow.
The devil protested, saying,
I must decline. I am absent-minded. I've never touched the stuff. Besides, I have pressing businesses elsewhere. I bid you adieu, my friend. I shall see you again 7 years hence, yonder on the mantle.
You'll find me there.
You'll find me there.
With this, Lucifer took his departure by his usual route, up the chimney, not without making a great din of rattling and rumbling.
It's like the reverse Santa Claus.
Right. The rest of the night, the major spent agreeably in the bed of a cooperative bellette. John Thomas putting on a sterling performance.
Attaboy, John Thomas, you work for the king. He was once a spy for the king. Not the major, but John Thomas.
Jesus. Soon the major's table was again covered with gleaming silver plates. Instead of mean rushes dipped in pitch, ordinate candelabras with innumerous tapers now illuminated his splendidly refurbished home. Fuck, that was a lot of fucking
I
words.
like how that's what makes you rich. They're like, oh, look at him. He's so rich.
Got all that
he can
silver.
afford candles. Well, I just burn our shit in a bucket in the corner for light.
He took on a French cook and a dozen new servants. Instead of one sorry poor nag, he now had a blooded, high-spirited horse in his stable, and beside his ancient half-blind dog, a fine pack of pedigree hounds in his kennel. His cellar was filled with the choicest triples, ports, clarets, sherry, Madeira, sack brandy, cognac, and Barbados rum.
Yeah, he's
As
got
well
a liquor
as
store down there.
The robust local Applejack and Monongahela rye.
Ah.
He bought new gold-embroidered broached clothes, shoes with silver buckles, and dozens of the latest fashionable wigs. Also a brace of French pistols inlaid with ivory and silver wire. And best of all, he had regained a decidedly youthful appearance and a certain spring to his step that his astonished friends assured him that he seemed to be like a spring chicken, fresh from the fountain of youth. Thus the good major lived right merrily.
Yeah. Nice and
As
springy.
the 7th year after signing the aforementioned document drew near, the major began to feel poorly. He seemed to have aged greatly, almost overnight. His last remaining teeth fell out. His neck became scrawny like that of a plucked chicken. His limbs grew stiff and feeble, and his whole system was riddled with the pox, a gift from the fair Belette. His much
Oh, shit. Maybe John Thomas was trying to tell you something all along.
His much swollen liver was rotten from the excessive imbibing of
Whiskey.
usquaba. His kidneys refused to function.
Oh,
He had
ayahuasca.
ayahuasca? You want to read that? Uzbahwa.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
Uzquaba.
Uzquaba.
His kidneys refused to function. He had trouble making water. He was, however, free from gout, and John Thomas performed as before. As the 7th year ended, Stobo caught a chill. His spare, shaking frame was rattled by a hacking cough. He was spitting blood. At last he heard again the familiar rumbling in the chimney, preceded by sparks and the clouds of ashes, dressed as before. In red velvet, the unsmudged, brilliantly white lace, old Nick approached Stobo's stick bed. The devil, smiling pleasantly, says,
You seem to be unwell, Major. You are aware, I trust, that payment is due. I have come to collect it. Here is the original document. You can see that everything is in order.
Stobo says,
My eyesight is almost gone. Sir, please hand me a candle.
the devil says,
Oh, with pleasure.
The major passed the flame close to the parchment. Instantly, the heat made the invisible ink visible. What made it visible was, pray note that my soul is expressly exempt from this deal. Remarked the words in the brownish color, in no wise my immortal soul. The devil took it badly. His satanic majesty was outraged. He cried,
God, then bollocks, perdition and damnation. I am beboobled and puckered. I am deeply hurt, Major. I took you for a gentleman. You have cheated me. I knew that you cheated me, cheated the hangman, cheated at love, and cheated at God. But cheating me, the devil, that has never happened before.
Stobo says,
You're welcome to the body, dear fella. My skin and bones may bring you a few pennies.
the devil says,
Oh, I will sell your body on the internet. It'll make me much more than a few pennies. I'm going to stuff it. Dip it in silicone. No, I mean, your pox-ridden carcass is not the slightest use to me. I definitely won't sell it online.
The fiend with indignation uttered foul curses, breaking wind for emphasis. filling the hall with clouds of yellow sulfur. Then, quick as lightning, he shot up the chimney, never to return. The major said with a toothless grin,
God damn it, now the room smells like devil farts. Foxton, my soul is saved. I yearn to be reunited with my old compadres in arms.
Thus the hero of many battles shuffled off his mortal coils. His soul, sinful but repentant, was wafted up to heaven, where the brave General Wolf's ghost welcomed it with a brimmer of celestial ambrosia. Stobo, spectre, took a mighty swig and said,
Not bad at all, but Scottish Oops Rebecca is bitter.
And that is it.
Yeah. I like to imagine the real end would be I'm going to hell. I want to meet with my old compadre. Wait, why did we end up in hell? Yeah, you guys were horribly racist.
God's also got a soft spot for soldiers.
Yeah, God's, yeah. I mean, we love the troops and all, but you guys really pushed that one.
Hard for you. You want to talk about the next one?
Aha, story number 2. This is one for all of you guys to remember here. The consequences of not letting a man have his drink.
It's just a story. It can go both ways.
Just a story.
There was once a man named Heinz. He was a
I
gunsmith.
like to catch up.
Yep. He was a gunsmith and married to a mean wife. Heinz was not a very good gunsmith because he drank too much. You got to have a very steady hand to rifle a barrel or to fashion a fine flintlock. You have to be reasonably sober to do that. Heinz was, however, good enough to repair rifles or reset triggers, cobble together a new part, do some filling here and a little hammering there, but a man can be in his cups and still do that kind of work.
This so far is the most American story we've ever had. I'm waiting for his pet eagle to show up.
I know, right?
Then his bald eagle named Freedom flew down.
Heinz figured that if he could get far enough from the other gunsmiths, way out into the wilderness where only the most daring would go, he could still earn a living while going on hitting the bottle to his heart's delight, because the backwoodsmen would come to him rather than travel nearly 100 miles to York or Lancaster to have their long rifles fixed. So he settled down in the farthest settlement called Dinwiddie Town to honor Virginia's governor, but named Deadmansburg by the locals for very good reasons, on accounts that the woods beyond the last dwelling began to full of ferocious creatures, both two-legged and four-legged. This godforsaken place had some 20 log cabins.
Is this a Sasquatch story? Because that'll just make it more American if Sasquatch shows up.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Had some 20 log cabins, a forge, and a tavern called the Stag's Head. There was also a blockhouse. If things got rough, men and women, children together with their livestock hastened to seek safety behind the stout walls, and the devil take the hindmost. Heinz took up a few acres, put together a ramshackle abode, and set up shop. Thus he tripled the work, worked and tripled. And his wife, taking proper care of the kitchen garden, 3 razorback piglets and a few scrawny chickens. Now the old woman was always getting quick to her hands on whatever money came up from the gun repairing, in order to prevent Heinz from drinking it all up. In this matter, the man and wife were forever at war, trying to outwit each other. As far as Heinz was concerned, it was losing battle because the woman had an easy time emptying Heinz's pockets whenever he was drunk, which was most of the time.
Yeah, that wily woman. Let's face it, Heinz, you have a problem.
One day, Heinz told his woman,
Good wife, you have picked my purse again, leaving me nothing. Let me have 2 bits. I feel like I'm going to Stag's Head for a dram. Just 1 dram.
The woman screamed.
You low dog, you sorry toss pot, you bumbling foodler.
I wrote that word for word. I just want you to know.
You bumbling fuddler. I want to bring that one back too. You shall have nothing from me. Go to the devil for it.
Heinz says,
Why don't you have? Okay, now carry on.
thank you. Heinz says,
Well then, good wife, I have a mind to swap a suckling pig for a keg of tipple. Ooh. Tipple
like
on my
nipple, but tipple.
Oh, yeah.
He went into the pigstry, grabbing a piglet by its forelegs, and his wife got hold of the hind legs, and they started pulling in opposite directions while the piglet squealed loud enough to make the man deaf. Don't
take this pig. He is my lover.
The woman was strong and won that tug of war. Heinz said,
I shall take my gun and go out and shoot a deer. I'll swap the meat for a barrel of rye.
There were deer enough in the nearby woods, but years of imbibing the good creature had made Heinz's hands tremble. His aim shaky and his eyes rheumy. He fired off many bullets, but hit nothing.
Damn.
Heinz called out in frustration.
Der Teufel soll holes es holen. The devil take it. I'd sell my soul to the Teufel for a guinea.
Teufel is devil.
I can't get that. What is all just? I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of anyone's language, but that sentence sounds particularly funny. Der Teufel stole es holen.
Stolen.
Yeah.
On the way home from his fruitless hunt, crossing a bridge over the stream that flowed on the hamlet's outskirts, Heinz met a stranger, a wee mannikin, very hairy, with a black pointed goatee and an unkempt mane, tufts of hair protruding from ears to nostrils.
That's a baby Sasquatch right there.
And little man wore a small funny hat and wooden clogs, much too large for his feet. His face was pockmarked, and his skin was as dark as of the chimney sweep. The wee fellow's eyes were like buttons, moving all the time, darting here and there, missing nothing. The stranger says, dropping a shiny guinea into the palm of the very surprised Heinz.
A good day to you, sir. A very good day and a moist, pleasant evening.
Is that right, boys?
No, but I feel moist.
Wow.
It's swampy out here.
The woods. Okay, turning into a loud crackling. Not unlike the screeching of a bird, with the odd fellow doffed his hat, bowed, and vanished in the twinkling of an eye. It had happened so fast that Heinz thought for a moment that it had all been a dream, but the coin was in his palm and was proof of his encounter to be real.
Well, time to go drink it away.
So Heinz whistled up a merry tune and went to the Stag's Head, and as soon as so besotted that he barely managed to find his way home. For a short while, Heinz remained sober, but soon the old story repeated itself. Heinz says to his old woman,
Good wife, you got again into my pockets, left me a shilling. Let me have a shilling. Things have not been too good lately. I want to go to the Stag's Head and drown my sorrows. My wife beats me.
His wife screams at him.
Oh, you good-for-nothing boother. Come over here and I'll slap you. You rascally knave. Not a farthing you will get, son of a bitch.
Heinz says,
In that case, I shall swap a chicken for a brimmer. Yes, a fowl for a foodle, that's it.
But already the woman stood in front of the hen house, threatening her husband with a pitchfork.
And truffles.
I know, right?
Oh, it's a twoffle for a guinea.
I knew you'd enjoy it.
A foodle for a fowl.
I knew you'd enjoy these stories. Right? How could I not? But already the woman stood in front of the hen house, threatening her husband with a pitchfork, saying,
Oh, you thought, you rumhound, you thwidwall, you son of a bitch, you limptic, good-for-nothing, puddle-drinking,
Yeah, wet noodle.
shit stain on the back of my underwear that I could never quite clean out no matter how many times I launder it. The devil take you, you wet noodle.
You're like that wart on my ass.
You're like that wart that's right on the inside of my butt cheek, and I can never get rid of it, and sometimes it tickles my butthole.
Wow. Heinz says, taking up his gun.
Oh, well, I will shoot a rabbit. Yes, I shall load this with pulver and Blair. A rabbit for Tony. Aha.
But again, his aim was poor and his hand unsteady.
I'm beginning to think that's not even like a different language. That's just how he talks, and everyone's like, yeah, we just deal with it. He had a head injury a while back, and ever since then he's just said funny words.
As he used up great amounts of powder and lead without hitting anything, he cursed.
Oh, Donna, go blitzen. Donna und blitzen. I give my soul for a guinea.
There's no N in Blitz.
Well, blitz, blitzen. Donna und blitz. And blitzen.
And once more at the bridge waited for him his hirsute mannequin, saying...
Good job. You cut me off before I went through all the reindeer.
What did the little devil say?
What did the little devil say? At your service, friend.
Dropping a freshly minted coin into Heinz's palm. And as before, Heinz whistled a merry tune and went to the Stag's Head and drank the tavern dry. His little spree was followed by a mouth of sobriety until the urge came upon him again, and he told his woman,
Oh, good wife, you have filtered my money. Let me have a shilling, not for liquor, just for little bacca.
His wife says,
I know you, you wine-bibbling, low-down rogue. You guzzling, villainous topper. A clout in your red glowing nose I'll give you. You puckering sphincter. You
Wow.
you tangled taint hair. Go to the devil for your money.
Tainter. She knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And send the devil back this way afterwards with a pack of Virginia Slims, because let me tell you, I would sell my soul.
I'm there yet. Oh yeah. This time, Heinz did not say anything in return, but tiptoed to the stable, got a calf by the halter, and tried sneaking off to swap it for a barrel of brandy. Naturellement, his wife was onto his tricks.
She was on his shit.
Knocked him flat with the blunt end of an axe, and then led the calf back into the stable.
I told you my wife beats me. It is very abusive relationship I am stuck in.
When Heinz came to, he said,
There's not a penny worth of pity in you, you miserable old hag.
Then he staggered off into the direction of the tavern, mumbling to himself.
Oh, there, let me have a dram for old time's sake. Der too full soul Mitch Holland for a mug of hot buttered rum. I don't know what happened to that accent at the end of that. Hot buttered rum. Ooh, yeah. Da. I like my rum buttery.
A crackling voice called out to him.
Oh, over here by the bridge.
It was the pint-sized stranger who had once more handed Heinz his coin. The hairy little fellow says,
Beware, sometimes I shit in the jogging path. This is the last time, I swear. Repayment will be in order shortly. My people will contact your people.
Heinz was happy. He tossed off a large mug of hot buttered rum, followed by a tumbler of Barbados rum. He treated all of his friends to a round after round. He zigzagged home and collapsed on his bed with a happy smile. I just fucking flung this weed everywhere.
With a happy, sappy smile.
It's very hard to read a book and impeccable at the same
Read a
time.
book?
I am.
Yeah.
Read a book, read a book.
Time to take a word from our sponsors. Tonight we are sponsored by books.
Read them.
Read them. Yeah.
No, but if you want to sponsor us, Pantheon Library, totally
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
I'm already rocking your shit anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take any sponsorship. I would
reach out.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
what do you think this devil guy's doing?
I don't think you want to attract the wrong. Okay. So a few months later, at the witching hour, with a pale moon shining and a storm a brewing, with the dogs howling pitifully and the wind rattling the window panes, Heinz and his wife were awakened by a loud thunderclap. A mighty gust of wind blew the door open and aimed swirling clouds of dust, and the wee stranger made his appearance. The unexpected visit instantly sobered up the befooled gunsmith. His teeth were chattering, his limbs trembling. Even his old woman, his old woman was usually afraid of nothing, broke out in goosebumps. Heinz stammered.
What do you want, good friend? This is no time to come visiting. We only do threesomes on the Thursdays.
The stranger says,
Come, sir, come. You know very well what I've come for.
He was quick as lightning, thrust his thin, hairy arm into Heinz's throat. Deep, deep down.
All
coming
the way
up to his
butthole.
feet, or coming up in his fist with something resembling a fluttering moth, emitting an insect-like wail. The drunkard's soul.
That's all we are as moths piloting humans? That's fucked up, man.
The wee mannequin says, with a triumphant screech, and the fluttering soul in his pocket, he made his exit.
Oh, now you owe me nothing, sir. I am well paid.
And he's gone. Boom, up the chimney.
Beef bear.
Heinz says,
I'll consider, wife. What comes from not letting a man have his drink, huh? See, it's your fault.
Then he fell back on his pillow and was dead. His wife's only comment. 2 words.
Well, I was gonna kill him tomorrow anyway, so this should save me some work.
Very nice.
Good riddance.
That's it.
That is it.
That's the consequence of not letting a man have his drink.
That's why you let a man have his drink, because if not, the devil
I
will
get-
come for his soul in the middle of the night.
She
Baby
said
Sasquatch devil.
It seemed
will-
like she didn't want him there in the fucking first
She was gonna kill him. She was gonna kill him within the next week. She had already planned it.
Probably.
She was running away with some furry little creature that she caught shitting in a jogging path. Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah, that he wouldn't have lasted long anyway. I mean, I do feel bad for him though, because he definitely was in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, she was very
She was very abusive.
domestic violence-y. Story 3.
Story number 3.
The Laughing Head. There was a young lad lately come to the country with his benighted heathen. To the edge of the world wherein Christians worshipped in churches, slept in beds as was proper, tilled the soil, and lived as the good book commanded. Young Tom, for that was his name, took up land, built himself a home, and with much toil cleared a few acres, rooting up tree stumps and rolling away boulders and shit. He then put down his first crop. Thus he prospered. Only one thing was missing. A vagina. There was a great dearth of white, godly women, because such desirable creatures would not come willingly to the wilderness. But a young wife Tom must have. So he took his rifle and powder horn and also a sack full of baubles.
Because you know bitches go crazy for baubles.
Such as were wont to bedazzle the heathen Indians, and betook himself to a Shawnee village, where he espied a comely maid who smiled at him because he was young and good-looking. He went to her father's wigwam and spread out his gifts, sharp axes and knives, sparkling bohemian beads, vermilion cloth, a looking-glass, and many such like trinkets. These he had swapped for the girl, whose father was a sorcerer and conjurer of the kind one finds in every heathen village.
Damn.
This witch man.
We're not even gonna unpack that.
No, I'm sorry. It's fucking rude to Native Americans. It totally is.
Yeah.
They say some fucked up shit. I'm sorry. These are the stories, though.
Yeah.
The times. I mean, I don't applaud these kind of shit.
Yeah.
That's not like I'm going to make a fucking movie out of it. I'm just saying.
This summer.
Welcome to the heathen village.
Yeah.
Where the
Laughing
witch
head.
man takes on Tom.
Takes on Tom.
Only for Tom to bang his daughter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tom v. Witchman, Dawn of Justice.
He's not a John of Justice. He's a dick.
Dawn of Dickness.
He is a dick.
Dick.
I will say that. I think Tom's a dick.
Tom is a dick.
This witchman let Tom and his intended jointly hold up a sacred pipe, placed at a large bear robe around his shoulders, and with many magic incantations and strange rituals, indicated that the happy couple were now man and wife, after the customs of his tribe. Tom then took his newly won bride, whose name was Mohose, back to his settlement, where he changed her name to Maud. Like a dick. I can't say her name. Maud it is.
This is my name. No, I'm way too white for that. I'm going to call you Maud.
And then wedded her for a second time in the proper Christian manner. And just as he had not comprehended any of his savage father-in-law's spells and invocations, so the dusky Maud did not understand a word of what the minister said, finding the things that he was doing in church exceedingly strange. At first, Tom and Maud communicated with signs and gestures, but he soon taught her to speak English tolerably well, made her exchange buckskin for a shift and petticoat, and instructed her in the use of soap and water instead of greasing hair in satin skin with bear fat. In this fashion, they lived happily. Now, Tom had taken a fancy to his new wife's folks and to their strange but fascinating ways. Now and then he would travel to their village and smoke the calumet with their... Okay, they go down there and they smoke the weed. They smoke the ganja. And watch his father-in-law do some conjurations. Always he brought gifts, and always he came home laden with venisons and curiously fashioned objects. He even learned a little Shawnee, though he never used it when conversing with his wife, as he did not wish for her to go back to her former heathen ways.
You know that it'll
Fuck
just
you,
refer
Tom.
like that.
The settlement's parsons, Peter Peabody, took a dim...
Peter Peabody here, personal parson for the people.
He took a dim view of young Tom's frequent visits to the Shawnee village. He said,
Let me warn you there, Thomas. It's not meet for a Christian to have such truck with these godless folk, especially with your wife's father, a foul necromancer he is, and a particular of
Practitioner.
the practitioner, executioner of the black arts, as I am told. I tell thee, Thomas, your mortal soul is in peril. There are ghosts here, and there, and everywhere, and demons, and enchantments, and bewitchments. Danger lurks, Thomas. Danger lurks everywhere. As a matter of fact, I might try to drug you myself.
and Tom says,
Bruh, like, I don't even believe in ghosts or demons.
and then he went on to visit Maud's folks. Once sitting by his father-in-law's campfire, he said offhandedly,
Bro, like, our preacher thinks, like, you're a magician who does, like, necromancies and shit, and it's, like, unhuman. Like, I totally don't believe this, man. I think you're just a good guy who likes, Led Zeppelin and smoke of the reefer, like myself, who can do some sleight of hand tricks, like our mountebanks at the fair,
Instantly, the old Shawnee twisted off his head, placing it at Tom's feet. Looking up at Tom, the head winked at him with a big grin, saying,
Tricks like this, my son?
Tom was thunderstruck. He screamed with fear and ran away. He swam away from home. Sorry.
He swam away. He's that
As
high.
fast as
He's
his
not
leg
even in
could
water. He's just, if I swim, I go faster, bro.
That's how he runs. When he's swimming,
like
running.
he's swimming.
It helps with the velocity,
He
bro.
flaps his ass like he has a tail.
Wild-eyed, disheveled, and trembling like a leaf, he arrived home. His wife asks,
Why? What is the matter with the Tom? Is something frightened you? See?
Tom says,
Bruh, wife, like, I saw something crazy and, like, diabolic, and it was utterly terrifying. Like, I can't really tell you, though. I don't totally remember.
Instantly, Maud twisted off her head, placing it on Tom's hands, and her head looked up at him, and her lips were smiling as she said,
Is it this that is frightening thee, Tom? Tom? Tom's like, bro. Okay, it is just me. I'm super baked.
Buffalo!
I'm gonna go take a nap. On to story number 4, final story.
As soon as I find it.
The Wild Hunter of the
Juniata.
Huriata.
I don't know what it is. Juaniata.
Juaniata? Huriata?
Juniata.
Niniata?
Juniata.
Juanita? Juaniata? Juaniata?
All right. At the time of the French and Indian Wars, when the land west of the Susquehanna was forbidding wilderness, fought over by English soldiers, American settlers, French regulars, Canadian conjurers de bois, and a host of Indian tribes, there lived on the banks of the Juniata River, deep inside the disputed territory, a man whose name might have been called Bell or Riley.
Way to tell the story. Yeah, it's like the Russian stories. It might have been Bill, it might have been Riley. Fine. You know what I know, though? I'm sure it wasn't Tom, because that was the other guy.
Oh, wait. But who was known far and wide as Captain Jack, the wild hunter of Juniata.
Captain Jack!
Some called him the half-Indian on account of his dress and manners. He was also known as the Black Rifle. The Indians had their own name for him, Stalking Death.
Stalking Death. Captain Jack!
Captain Jack was a frontier pioneer of the Herculean stature. Swarthy and keen-eyed, land-hungry, he had taken his family where land could have been had for the taking, provided one was either overbold or mad enough to make one's home in the country of the Crimson Tomahawks.
Captain Jack!
Captain Jack was a dead shot, the finest marksman in the territory. He could hit the eye of a squirrel at 100 paces, and once, on a bet, has suspended a walnut by a string from a branch, shattering it at his first shot in 150 paces.
I feel like that whole last, paragraph should have been made into, an old-fashioned Davy Crockett. A big Dave. It's like, Captain Jack can shoot a acorn at 100 paces. Captain Jack.
The chase was Captain Jack's delight. The country of huntsman paradise, a swarm with turkey, deer, elk, beret, wolfe.
Wolfe, le wolfe,
Get them out. Well, they all had E's at the end, and there's no Y in turkey. It was 2 E's for turkey. Turkey.
Turkey!
And beyond the Monongahela, with the occasional buffalo.
Hey, buffalo!
That the hunter could become the hunted in the twinkling of an eye only added spice to the sport.
It's so spicy.
Captain Jack was inured to the horrors of broader warfare, as well as to the heat and cold, hunger and thirst. He was also a patriot. To help his people in their war against the French, he organized a company of hungry. Oh my God, I'm just
hungry
hippos.
hippos.
I'm sorry. of hunter rangers. Wow.
He organized a crew of hungry hippos.
It was fantastic. They turned
It
into
was
live
fantastic, yeah.
I need this beer
That's
open.
that's
Hang
the
on.
next movie that I'm waiting for him to make. Like, if they're adapting board games and shit into movies, I want to see Hungry Hippos, the live action. Can you feed the hippos this July?
They're gonna fucking... What happens when they meet? Mousetrap.
Yeah, Mousetrap.
I'm sorry. Okay. Skilled in... Okay, I was gonna read it. Okay. To his people in their war against the French, he organized a company of hunters rangers. Skilled in woodcraft, expert in Indian fighting, clad like their leather in... like their leather. Like their leader.
They were clad
in
head to toe in
fringed-
tight leather.
No, in fringed buckskin. Hey.
Oh, hey. Captain Jack.
Armed with skinning knives and tomahawks besides their long rifle. They were as ready to scalp a Mingo or a Shawano as to be scalped themselves. They neither asked nor expected mercy, neither did they expect pay. Whatever they could take from the French and Indians was all that they asked for as a reward. They insisted, however, to be allowed to march and fight as they pleased without being subjected to any army discipline.
Well, I mean, back in those days, I could totally see that being me. So, like, do you want to join the army? You're a very special soldier. Like, okay. But that stupid thing you guys do where you march across a field lined up in front of each other, just, straight across, just shooting right at each other. I'm not, homie, don't play that. I'll join the army, but you'll find my ass in the woods.
None of that shit makes no sense.
High ground,
General
bitch.
Braddock refused to have them take part in his expeditions against Fort Duquesne, calling them the
damned set of rogues and gallows birds, the most insolent, disobeying, cursing, and swearing rascals in the world, worse than even the most depraved savages.
They only grinned, calling him a damned fool to his face, and went home to their rude cabins to fight their own private war in defenses of their home and family. In his hour of need, the general might have wished them back. Ornery as the wolverine and unsociable to the extreme, Captain Jack was yet a caring
that goes
husband.
in this song.
Captain Jack was yet a caring husband and a doting father, loving to his family. As
He's
bread,
like an 80s action movie here.
I know, right? As bread and meat love salt.
He's a total badass. Why can't you come help us, Captain Jack? Because I'm also a good father.
Here's where it gets fun.
Yeah.
Little sit.
Little sip.
One evening, Captain Jack came home from the forest and found his cabin burnt, his wife and children murdered. And as he looked at the ruin, a tempest of fury swept through his being. In a moment, the waving foliage of hopes and sympathies and compassion were burnt out, leaving his nature like a charred trunks of trees, through which had passed a roaring forest fire. A demon entered into the possession of him as he walked to and fro before the heap of ashes which had borne the precious names of home. He clenched his fist and was shaken against the surrounding forest. His teeth were gnashing together. A storm was coming. The rains of heaven bent down unnoticed upon his unprotected head. The crack of the thunderbolt, the flash of the forked lightning alike failed to attract his attention. It was midnight, and by the dull glow of the cabin embers, the man could be seen, still walking backward and forward. The storm ceased, but not the walker, and at last morning dawned. A bird caroled its early song from the leafy branches of a mighty tree, and the man paused. He looked around with a bewildered air, and at a distance in the puddle of a water lay his hat, where it had fallen the night before. He picked it up, and as he did so, his eyes fell upon the corpses of his child. With a heavy heart he dug a grave and revertedly laid to rest the bodies of the dead. That is a wrong one. Oh my god. One mighty burst of tears and he was gone.
It's the Punisher.
Shit.
Yeah. His name was Jack. Jack Frank Castle. Captain Jack Frank Castle.
Wow. Henceforth, all aims, all hopes, and all affections were fused into one overmastering passion, revenge.
Revenge!
Caves and mountains became his dwelling place. Thus spoke the Old Time Chronicler. The old man was turned into an ogre of legend. Pioneers and pathfinders came upon the corpses of Indians left to the wolves and birds of prey. That they were invariably scalped was not remarkable, but horrible to relate. Their hearts had been torn from their bodies to be devoured by him, and some said, or to be carried dried in a satchel on his person as mementos or talismans. When a man chanced upon the mutilated body of an Indian, he said,
He has been here.
They heard a crack of a rifle at midnight, and they said,
Oh shit, is it him?
One night, a settler heard a shot near his cabin and opened the door. A dead Mingo lay before it, and from the woods beyond a hollow voice sounded.
I have saved your lives.
The German settlers called him Racher, the Dark Avenger, and feared him.
The Dark Avenger. Yeah.
And feared him almost as much as they feared the hostile Indians, or even though they were thankful for his sometimes spooky protection. One settler swore that when attacked by an Indian, a huge wolf had leaped at the warrior, tearing out his throat. The wolf then assumed the shape of Captain Jack, blood trickling down his chin. And the specter grinned horribly, waved his farewell, turning back into a wolf once more. Another frontiersman related that he had seen Captain Jack face to face with the fierce catamount. The wild hunter challenged the beast, saying,
Come on, friend. Let's fight. Bare fist against claw. Tooth for tooth. I need the practice, you son of a bitch.
The panther cowered and slunk.
You get your thumb out of my butthole.
Wow. Once Captain Jack fought 4 Indians at once. He dispatched the first 3, one after the other. One was a lithy, brawny warrior who grappled at the Avenger, and a long, bloody fight with knives
It's just
ensued.
like an action movie. It's the exact same breakdown as an 80s action movie. Like, he goes on a vengeance quest, right? Then he fights all the guys, and then who's at the end? The big guy. The paid extra who has some lines.
It is.
Yeah, exactly.
It sure is. It's going to keep going that way. Almost. It's a good story. It's always been a classic, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just seeing where they all got it.
It ceased only when both were exhausted by loss of blood. The warrior got away, leaving Captain Jack the victor on the battlefield. The field of battle. Weak and faint as he was, Captain Jack proceeded to scalp the 3 dead Indians. Then he worked his way back to the settlement to have his many stab wounds dressed. This was the one and only time a victim escaped him. The wild hunter of Waniata had killed more than 100 Indians, but his thirst for revenge had not been assuaged. There lived in a native village deep in the wilderness a mighty chief, the terrible Cotties. In the space of one single day, Cotties had taken the scalps of no less than 16 settlers to prove himself worthy of his chieftainship. It was the Cotties and his band for who had burnt Captain Jack's cabin and murdered his families.
Oh no, yeah, it was that villain.
For years, the Indian killer had searched for him in vain. Cotties were unaware of this, and the burning of a single log cabin, the wiping out of a single family, was not worthy of remembrance. The event had simply slipped the chief's mind. But when Cotties were told of a man called Stalking Death, he was seized with a fierce desire to fight him.
Please tell me he puts a
strength
skull
against
on
strength.
his chest.
Guile against guile. With both men determined to find each other, the fatal meeting would not be delayed for long. They came face to face in the dark forest clearing. The Indian asked,
Are you the one they call Stalking Death?
The white man asked.
Are you Coitus the Terrible?
The Cotties said.
Enough words.
And they fought hand to hand for 3 days. Every morning they got up to renew their battle, stabbing and hacking and dodging and advancing and retreating. Every evening they fell to the ground, bloody and exhausted, and came morning and at daybreak they were at each other's throat again. Well, the Kilkenny cats had fought until their own claws and tails were left. Nothing at all remained of either Cotty or Captain Jack except a hatchet and a crimson knife. This, an old pioneer woman told her grandchildren, the same woman who would frighten little ones whenever they were naughty.
Oh, Coitus is terrible. Or Captain Jack will get you if you don't behave yourselves. They'll come for you.
After his epic battle with the Cotties, Captain Jack vanished, never to be seen again in the flesh. Grateful settlers named a towering eminence called Jax Mountain after him. At its base, some said that the wild hunter of Woniata was buried in 1772. Not so, protested others. He simply went west. And on the point all agreed, every night at the stroke of 12, Captain Jack's ghost revisited the favorite spring to drink from its clear depths and then dissolve into nothingness. And for many years, respectable, sober-minded farmers maintained that they had seen the spirit of Captain Jack and the Cotties renewing their terrible fight in the clouds amongst the thunder and lightning. Who is to say that it is not so?
I think Captain Jack was buried at the base of that mountain, but he was buried next to his lover that he ran away with. Cotties.
Yeah. There stands a monument at Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, bearing the inscription Colonel Patrick Jack, an officer of the Colonial and Revolutionary Wars. Died January 25th, 1821, aged 91. Could this be Captain Jack, the Wild Hunter of Juanita? No one seems to know.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, that was just a little...
He moved on. Yeah.
I hope you liked it.
Yeah, I hope you folks had fun with that. I know we did. I thought that was very fun.
You're going to like the next one more. It's so much more fun.
Yeah.
The devil is so funny to me.
The devil is hilarious.
So
hope you folks
different,
enjoyed us.
Right? So different than your other one.
Yeah. Let us know what you think of the devil.
Yeah.
Not in general, but just in the episode.
Yeah.
We don't need to go in depth on this.
That.
Yeah.
Because this is the first time I've actually got a trickster devil.
Yeah, this is because this
like
is all from America. Retold in America. Legends and Tales of the American West. From Richard Erdos. Ohio.
No,
Ohio there.
Section.
Ohio.
Oh, yeah, by Richard Erdos. He does a lot of shit.
He does.
For them.
Yeah.
He's in my Native American tales, too.
I thought that was interesting. Captain Jack, you son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Captain Jack, you're a son of a bitch.
Sorry.
Next week we will be jumping back into just because we like to mix it up and fuck with you folks. We're going to be jumping back into Zoroastrianism.
Oh, you're telling them already what we're doing?
Yeah, I'm prepping them that way right now.
Check out next either a part 2 of Zoroastra or a part 2 of the American West.
Yeah, because both have part 2s coming.
But they're both coming.
Yeah, we're going to fight for it.
Yeah.
For eternity.
We're actually just flip a coin.
Yeah, we'll flip a coin and then fight in the clouds.
And then rock, paper, scissors it.
Yeah. We will scissor over it.
We have to find out which hand is going to win before we use that winning hand against each other.
Yeah. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, travel throughout the West and tell stories about us around campfires while you eat beans with your trail caravan.
Mm-hmm.
Do all that stuff.
Check out our merch.
Yeah, we've got merch. Check it out. Teespring.com, teespring.com/high-mythology-merch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Pictures to come.
Yeah.
More.
It helps us to get more stuff for the podcasts. So, yeah.
It doesn't really feed my baby.
It doesn't. No, it feeds my baby. Yeah, my brain baby.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a little odd.
That's a little weird. Don't call your mind your brain baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
a good night.
Thank you for listening. Have a good night. We'll see you folks next week.
Nice.
Captain Jack.